Nice to see everyone. Okay. So I've just arrived from Singapore, and so I'm trying to get back on track. Okay. All right, can you hear me well? Yaza, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me well? Okay. Good. There's a good chance that we start. So let's sit in a comfortable meditation posture. We'll take 10 minutes of meditation. As you're sitting in a comfortable meditation posture with the back erect, side cast down, we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. Let's allow it to be heavy. And changing. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, and we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy Now let's consider the freedom that we get as we allow the body to be free, to be the way it is. And observe this considering itself also. Now let's share our peace with other living beings. We can start in our room. May all beings in this room be in peace. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. May all beings in this country be in peace. May all beings on this continent be in peace. May all beings on this planet be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be mindful and shine with loving kindness. From now on, I will always be mindful and shine with loving kindness. From now on, I will always be mindful and shine with loving kindness. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. All right, so let's look at the chanting today, and we will let us look at it in the Burmese pronunciation right away. So I will ask everyone to unmute yourself. So I will say Yamaha Wadami Tan Wadeta with the Burmese pronunciation. Jake has a question?
I have to go for my eye appointment now.
Of course, yes, please.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So I will say Yamaha Wadami Tan Wadeta, and you can then reply Ama Bhante. With Burmese pronunciation, it would be Ama Bhante. So let's try it together. Yamaha Wadami Tan Wadeta. Yes. Max and Pyo and others, if you did not keep your hands together, I would like to ask you to keep your hands together because that is a symbol that you're taking it seriously. Now you have the opportunity to take 3 refuges, 5 precepts from me, and I would appreciate if you take it seriously, so please remember to keep your hands together at the chest. So let's try it again. Yamaha Wadami Tan Wadeta. So now you can repeat after me. Be very careful about my pronunciation. See if you can search there some of those roles that I have explained to you previously. Aham Bhante Titaranena Taha Piensatilan Dhamman Yasami Anogahan Katwa Tilan Data Me Bhante Anukampan Upadaya Dutiyampi Aham Bhante Titaranena Taha Piensatilan Dhammayasami Anogahan Katwa Tilande Thame Bhante Anukampan Upadaya Tatiyampi Aham Bhante Titarane Nataha Piensatilan Dhammayasami Anogahan Katwa Tilante Thame Bhante Anukampan Upadaya Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Tambodhata Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Tambodhata Namo Tatta Bhagavato Arahato Tamma Tambodhata Be careful about the end. There is also ta at the end. Tambodhata. So let's try that part again. Tamma Tambodhata. Okay. Bodhantaranang Gishami. Dhammantaranang Gishami. Be careful, it is tarana because S becomes ta. So let's try that again. Dhammantaranang Gishami. Tanghantaranang Gishami. Dutiyampi Bodhan Taranang Gishami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Taranang Gishami. Dutiyampi Tanghang Taranang Gishami. Tatiyampi Bodhan Taranang Gishami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Taranang Gishami. Tatiyampi Tanghang Taranang Gishami. So now I will say Taranagamanam Pariponam and you can reply Amabhanti. So let's try that together. Taranagamanam Pariponam. So now come the precepts. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Tamadiyami Adainadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Tamadiyami Kametu Mesasara Veramani Sikkhapadam Tamadiyami Mutawada Veramani Sikkhapadam Tamadiyami Turameraya Mizza Pamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadam Tamadiyami. So now I will encourage you to follow and protect the 5 precepts and 3 refuges very well and strive mindfully. And you can then reply Ama Bhante. So let's try that together. Chitarnena tahapyen satilan dhammanta dhukanturakhitan katva appamadena tampadeta. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana. Very well, so I'm very happy we could do this. So this was actually our very first time that you recited all of the 3 refuges and 5 precepts in Burmese, right? So now how will we do that? I think because this went very well, I think we will just alternate. So one Sunday we will recite in Sri Lanka, one Sunday in Myanmar, one Sunday in Sri Lanka, one Sunday in Myanmar. The languages are called Sinhalese and Burmese. Sinhalese is the language of Sri Lanka, and we will follow the Sinhalese pronunciation, which is the one you already know so well. And the Burmese pronunciation is the pronunciation from Myanmar. Some people try to use the word Myanmese, but Burmese people, when they speak in English, they don't do that. So it is better to use Burmese. If you use Myanmese, I will understand you, but I'm not sure what's the attitude of Burmese people. So the language is still Burmese. I actually have never seen Myanmese in these selections, you know, like when I apply, when I write a form about like from my account, if it's an account in for university or something, you have there, you know, selection of languages that you can speak. And I never saw in these, you know, pre-selections Myanmese. They always call it Burmese. So officially it is still Burmese. Previously, a few years ago, you would not find even Burmese there. It's like the language just didn't exist, or people in the US didn't find it in any way important. But now, in the few past years, I have started to see the language Burmese as an option in various forms and applications and so on online. All right, so now I'm curious about your notes from the stories. So Yaza, did you write some notes? Did you read a story? Yes. And Yamon? Yes. And Max? Yes, nice. And pure? Nice, very good. So that is great. Um, uh, let's see if I can also write some notes myself for next week. Um, but but I want to hear your notes already today. We have some time for that, and we can start with it right now. So can I please ask Yaza to tell us first the name of the story that you read? If you read all of them, then just tell us the name of the one you wrote notes from, and then if you can read for us your notes, that would be great.
So I read Into the Prison.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wrote was, I knew the coup was bad, but the way the story described it just makes me think it was worse than how I thought.
Mm-hmm.
People were beaten and lied to by the military, as well as arrested for the smallest reasons, and also sometimes for no reason. And I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. Very good. Yamo?
I read Dreaming of London, and I said, I think it's sad that the two people in the story didn't get to go to London because of the war. And I said, it's scary that there's always shells exploding around them and guns everywhere.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Max?
I read Museum of the Steel Butterflies, and the story made me feel sad because, like, people have done a lot for the revolution, and people have donated a lot.
Very good. Thank you very much. Pure?
I read The Revolution, and it kind of had me worried for the guy because he didn't have any freedom, like personal rights. He just got taken away just out of nowhere, and then they gave him no rights.
What was the nationality of him?
I believe he was Burmese.
It was Burmese?
Yes, because it was the Burmese people versus the government.
I see. And he didn't get any rights? What was the reason that he couldn't get any rights?
No, he was just taken from his house. Like,
I see.
I'm assuming he was like a news reporter, and like what he was reporting wasn't allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't say anything about that. That's just what I'm inferring from what I know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you all very much. That was very good. So now that's great. I think it's always our class when we are so amazingly efficient in whatever we are doing. So I'm very proud, but at the same time I'm surprised. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that. Does anyone of you have any questions about the revolution, about the people, about the situation, anything at all? Yeah, Zah, do you hear about the revolution and news about the revolution these days from anyone?
All I really know about it is that it was like a coup from the military because they didn't like who was elected. Because like the commander of the military wanted to be the president instead.
Okay, well,
It's
that's
okay
very
to say.
simplified. That's very simplified, but it's good. Good. My question is whether whether you have anyone who's telling you the news about what's going on now. Now means like the 9th of October 2022. Do you have anyone who sends you news or any access to news that you sometimes check regarding the Spring Revolution?
I mean, there are probably multiple people who post what they find on YouTube, but I don't really watch that.
You don't really watch it. Okay. And Yamon? No news. You don't read it. No watch it. What about your parents, Yaza? They don't tell you any news. They don't tell you like, oh, now this happened, or oh, now that happened. You never hear anything like that from your parents or family or anyone else.
I mean, they are the ones who made me aware of the coup in the first place.
Yes, but they don't tell you like any news, like saying, oh, now this happened. Oh, now that happened. You never hear that.
I'm too glued to my screen to really listen to that.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you well.
I'm too glued to my screen to listen to that.
I see. Okay. And Yamo, you do not hear any news. Like I understand you do not watch them, but you don't like overhear them from people talking about that.
My mom talks about it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you well.
My mom.
Sometimes you hear things from your mom. What was the last thing you have heard?
It was just something about how like the kids still haven't gone to school yet in like 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Do you know why they didn't go to school yet?
Because of like the war and violence.
Can you explain the connection of the war and violence and the kids not going to school?
It's not safe for them to go to school right now.
You think it's because it's not safe? Actually, that's not the connection. That's why I asked, because I thought certainly you will not have the connection right. The connection is because this is, they call it, wow, I don't know how what's the official name? I totally forgot it. It's called disobedience movement.
Boycotting.
Boycotting, but it has an official name. There is another word, but two of the three words are disobedience movement, something like social disobedience movement or people's disobedience movement, something like that. I don't remember the word, but it's a basic knowledge. This is such a shame that I forgot it. And so there's this disobedience movement. This is very important for you to understand. It's such a basic knowledge, so I'm like, that's so shameful that I forgot the name of the movement. And this disobedience movement is what started, what powers, and what gives the chance that the Spring Revolution will be successful. Without this disobedience movement, there is no revolution. The disobedience movement, what is that? This is not a Burmese invention. This is from other revolutions in the world as well. It's just that Burmese people are knowledgeable, some, and they found out and they started this. And this disobedience movement, what does it do? Is that when the country is under a coup, so someone comes, it's read coup, not coup, it's read coup. You know, like the bird is cooing, coo. So this is coup, and or a baby is cooing, right? Whatever. This is coup, and that's totally different from babies cooing. And so when there's a coup in a country, not necessarily Myanmar, then some people, no, many people, usually it's like 3% of the people overall, they decide that they don't like it and they will do something about it. And they come and there is how do you call that? They come out into the streets and they protest. And then, as they protest, more and more people find out. And they understand very clearly that the government can govern only until the people listen to the government. If nobody listens to the government, well, then the government has zero power. And it just falls away itself naturally. So one way how to win over a government and topple it is simply halting everything that's happening in the country, so that the people don't go to work, they don't they don't teach, they don't learn, they don't go to hospital, they don't work in shops, nothing. Total stop of all of the country life. The government then immediately sees that something is absolutely out of control. They see that people are not listening to the government, because the government doesn't like it, of course. That's why it's called disobedience movement. CDM, civil disobedience movement. CDM. Maybe you have heard the acronym CDM. Have you heard of that? From your parents or your family? You have, some of you have, some of you haven't. So CDM, civil disobedience movement. This is such a basic knowledge. Like, you do not need to know what is NY or what is CA, you know, acronym. But you need to know what is CDM. It's like so important. So CDM, civil disobedience movement. And that's when the people just don't do anything. And they don't do it so that the government understands that the people disagree with the government, in hope that the government will topple or that the people there will resign. Now, military doesn't do that because they don't care. They're a different world within a different world. It's not like a government of a country. It's like one world inside a different world. The military is a totally different world for its own. It has different roles, different system, different beliefs, different understanding, different knowledge, different attitudes, different wishes from all others who are not military. That's also why the military, when it's in the government, doesn't care about the people around, because they're just so different. And that's why you get, I think, like, I don't know the numbers well, but I think like 60-70% of the country budget goes for military alone. Totally insane. You would need like 10% is totally enough. Now, when you put 70% of country budget for military, then how many percent remains for everything else for the government, for the country? Is that a hard math? 30%, right? So how do you want to pay teachers and schools and infrastructure and economics and everything? It's very simple. You don't pay it. And what is the outcome? If you don't pay for infrastructure, for schools and so on? Two things: crime and poverty. Or better to say poverty and crime, because of poverty there is crime. Of course, there is crime also without poverty, but poverty is one of the main fuels. So the children don't go to school because there are no teachers. It's just that simple. And the teachers don't go to school because they joined the civil disobedience movement. There is in many of the schools, yes, there are cases when you get the soldiers in the schools and they're checking and whatever, but most of the schools don't have that problem. This is rare that you would get soldiers in the schools. It is there in Myanmar, but it's very rare. Most of the schools, most of the teachers just don't teach because they don't agree with the government. That's all. And when you don't get teachers, well, then you don't get students. So that's why the students don't go to school, because the teachers follow civil disobedience movement, not because it would be dangerous. But again, of course, there are exceptions. So now NUG, the National Unity Government, do you know that? Yaza, did you know what is NUG? No idea? Yamo, any idea what's NUG? No? Max? You do? Cho, have you heard of NUG? No? That's bad. That's so bad. NUG is the name of the, we could say, is the name of the representative government. There's a special word for that. It's a government which is not in the country, which is outside of the country. But that government governs the country. And that's NUG. So NUG is a government that's based in the US, but it's a government of Myanmar. And when they decide that people tomorrow will not go outside into the streets to show the military that the people are not listening to the military, then the people don't go out to the streets. Nobody goes out into the streets. Why? Because NUG decided that. How is that possible? Because NUG is the government of Myanmar. So you have like this a government in exile. I'm now getting the words. I rarely talk about this in English. Government in exile. And this is the government that you get outside of a country that fully controls the country. But they cannot be inside the country because there is someone else who also wants to be the government. At this very moment, I'll tell you some news, so you have some, so you know something. So now NUG has full power, full control. That means in all levels of the society, all levels of the life, in 50% of the Myanmar country. And of course, they have a huge power over the remaining 50%, but not, how to say that, full power. So that's NUG, Government in Exile. And they have their PDFs. Does anyone know what's PDF in Myanmar? Yaza, any idea what's PDF?
I only know that PDF is a type of file.
No, that's not what we are talking about. Yamo, any idea what's PDF in Myanmar? No? Max?
Isn't it the People's Defense Force?
That's right, that's PDF. Pure, did you know it? No? So Max, can you tell us something about the People's Defense Force? It seems that, that you know quite a lot about this.
I don't know that much about it, but I overheard my mom talking about it.
Okay. So where do this PDF come from? Can you tell us just any idea how old are they? When did they first appear in Myanmar?
I'm not sure when they first appeared, but I know they're like very young. They're not properly old enough.
Yes, now they are pretty well organized, but it took some time to organize them. That's right. They appeared a short time after the 2021 February coup. Until then, they did not exist. They're totally new thing. And they are full-fledged military. They do not have jets. They probably do not have tanks. And they probably do not have other you would call it heavy how do you call that, heavy weaponry, how do you call that, heavy equipment, heavy military equipment. They don't have that. There's no way to get it into to them, but they do have quite a lot of equipment, and they're entirely under the power of NUG. So NUG is controls the PDF in Myanmar, and through the PDF they are gradually increasing the area that NUG fully controls. and they're coming closer and closer into the center. Where is the original military? Until that original military will be removed. Whether they will be removed without a massacre or with a massacre, that I don't know. But I think, if I remember correctly, the PDF have already massacred about 20,000 of the original military soldiers. So it's not like that they are shooting sleeping, how do you call it, sleeping bullets or whatever you call it, from sleeping gun. No, 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 no. It's pretty hard. The military bombs villages and innocent people's villages. They come to people's houses. They just shoot them dead. They don't care at all. This was before PDF emerged. Then people, young men, thought, okay, we need to do something with this. They made their own weapons, whatever. They made groups, and they were self-created groups by Burmese young men and women. And then NUG had hard times to find these PDFs because they're totally autonomous. You know what's that word? They're entirely alone. Friends came together and said, we need to do something. They went into the forest, started to make their weapons, and started to attack the military whenever, or protect the villages, or as much as they could, without anyone controlling them, without anyone at all, just friends there. We could say kind of like rebels, but unfortunately the military is rebel, so it's very hard, you know, to use the terms, any terms. It's very hard to use. So many of the PDF groups are self-created groups, naturally emerged groups. And then NUG decided this word, People's Defense Force, and they call all of these groups that are against the military and that are on the side of the NUG, People's Defense Force. And then they just had to register, or the NUG had to find them, register them, and now they have to follow the decisions of the NUG. What is NUG? National Unity Government. Again, National Unity Government. PDF, People's Defense Force. CDM, Civil Disobedience Movement. This is basics. You need to know this. If I wake you up at 1:30 a.m. and I ask you, what is CDM? You immediately need to say Civil Disobedience Movement. If I ask you, what is PDF? People's Defense Force. If I ask you, what is NUG? National Unity Government. You immediately need to know that. This is, again, like if I ask you NY and you say, what's that, New Jersey? Then that's okay. But if you don't know what is CDM, that's a problem. Okay? So important it is, because that's part of your identity. You need to cherish your identity. This is so important psychologically for you. Study about Myanmar, read about it, search about it. Now, this book probably contains some of the information, but apparently not enough. But I think there will be some articles that summarize what has been going on in Myanmar. So you may like to search Wikipedia, Myanmar coup, or 2021 coup, or Spring Revolution. Search that. Read something about that. This is so important thing for you, because Burmese is your identity. You need to cherish your identity. It's one of the reasons. It's how to say that. It's one of the ways how you can be mentally healthy. It's like so important. So please do that. Be healthy. You may not be able to appreciate it now, you know, but gradually you will get these questions like, so who am I? So I'm in the US, but I'm Burmese. So am I Burmese or am I US? But I'm in the US, but I'm Burmese. But I don't know anything about Burmese. Well, but if I know Burmese and Burma, but I'm in the US, so what am I? What's going on with me? It's good for you to cherish your identity. You do not need to stick to it. You don't need to cling to it. You do not need to be proud, or you know what I mean, like conceited, but you need to know. You need to have the knowledge. So if someone asks you, oh, you're Burmese, there's this coup, right? Did you join the CDM? Then if you say, what's that? I don't know what is CDM. Oh, it would be so funny. You cannot do that. You just say, yeah, of course, I did not join civil disobedience movement, but I support it. Okay, so today it was a lot of admonishment, but I wish that this helped you, encouraged you a little to study that. I can understand you have a lot of other things and a lot of other interests, but I wish that you read something about it and get some basic knowledge. There is no homework or nothing like that for until next week, so enjoy your time, and if you get some opportunity, please read about CDM, Civil Disobedience Movement, NUG, National Unity Government, and PDF, People's Defense Force. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Everyone, please unmute and say goodbye to Fiat. Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Nice thinking.